Oh, Bobertus, you should have been there, man. Today has been crazy. So we were all sitting around the table, yeah, and Darthasina's across from me, and I thought I'd just throw a joke her way, see if, she'd catch on, she'd, come over to the dark side, if you get what I'm saying. So I just called her name, went, "Yo, Darthasina, is BB hungry?" And then she goes, "What?" And then I go, "No, BB ate." And then I just started laughing hysterically. My mate there started laughing hysterically. Darthasina, she threw a smile. She was pretty amused before she walked off, but she was pretty damn amused by that, and I'm pretty sure that's second base on its own right there.
Well, I don't think that's second base. But yeah. Speak to you soon, Lawrence.
Alright, Barbados, peace out, peace out. Okay, time to program the hyperdrive system. Let's go to Alderaan! Oh, Alderaan places, that's right, guys. Oh, I am on fire tonight. Oh god, that's so funny. When I get there, I need to make sure to ask for some hamburgers and hot dogs. Oh my god, I'm a comedian. I am just excellent. I cannot wait to get my podcast started on the KooTube. I'm going to sit there, create a channel called Boring Conversation anyway, and I'm going to get a million, billion, quadrillion views every video. It's going to be perfect. Whoa, 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 why's the cabin just started shaking? Whoa, whoa, someone's coming out of hyperspace right next to me. What are they doing? Oh, Jesus! God, okay, I'm alive. System failures across the board, but it's fine. Everything's good. What the hell is he doing? Maniac. Bloody maniac, that guy. Jesus. Oh, God, people like that think they own the galaxy. Think they can just fly around and do what they want. Well, you know what? You're going to get a DUI, mate. You're going to get done, and you're going to lose your license. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's Lawrence here again today with another video, and today we're going to be doing the top 10 quests in SWTOR. Let's begin.
Starting with number 10.
Coming in strong at number 10 today, we have the last battle of the Endar Spire, which takes place on Taris in the sinking city. Basically, the gist of this quest is to go and investigate the crash site, take a team of researchers with you to investigate what happened to the ship, and of course re-establish contact and recover the data that's been salvaged from the site. Unfortunately, while you're doing this quest, you have a whole bunch of scavengers attacking you, you have elite units running around everywhere, which makes it a bit of a pain, and it takes quite a while to actually make progress in this side quest. But ultimately, the storyline is excellent because it is a nod to the original KOTOR game. The Endar Spire actually crashes in the original KOTOR, and we actually get to watch that. And then, of course, when you come back to SWTOR, you get this sense of nostalgia, and it sort of reminds you that you're in a Star Wars game, which is why, for sure, it makes my top 10 list. But to go into the nitty-gritty parts of it, the reason I like this quest ultimately is because they have a wave mechanic system in place where you have to fight the first wave, the second wave, and then a final assault wave, and that alone really immerses the player. So when I'm sitting there defending against all these ads, I'm basically saying to myself, oh my god, I'm actually trapped. Okay, it's getting harder and harder, they're getting stronger and stronger, and I have no way of defeating them, so because of that, definitely earned number 10 on my list.
Number 9.
Taking 9th spot on our list today is a quest called The Things Cerka Found on Tatooine in the Dune Sea. This quest ultimately is a rather mysterious quest in the game, and amongst others is actually probably, from my perspective, the most mysterious, as the player is actually told that there is an artifact that Cerka has been investigating that has the power to destroy planets, similarly to the Death Star. But ultimately, the player knows this can't be true, and is rather concerned, so you go and look into this huge quest, you investigate all these relay towers to find where the secret Cerka facility is, and once you find the dig site, you actually find the artifact. It's actually a prison for this sort of entity, and it is actually capable of destroying planets. So the player, is sort of freaking out, and I found that exact experience when I was going through it. I was sitting there going, damn, there's actually something stronger than the Death Star, and it's some evil Sith spirit. We better kick its ass, and you have to go through and destroy the machine, you have to kill these ads, you have to fight the boss. It is actually just one of the best, by far, quests in the game, and because of that alone, it's just number 9. It's mysterious, complicated, and confusing, and I love it.
Number 8.
Taking 8th place on our list today is a quest simply called The Dark Council. Now this quest is the concluding quest for the Sith Inquisitor storyline and takes place in the Dark Council's quarters on Korriban. This fight specifically is one of the most engaging in the game because not only is it very depth in the lore, but also the fight takes place inside the Dark Council chambers in the presence of all the Dark Council members. So this fight for the player is very, very, very intense. So you're sitting there having to fight this other Dark Council member with all the Dark Council looking at you, judging you, and it's basically the proving moment for your Sith Inquisitor character. So if you beat him and become victorious, all the Dark Council members will respect you. If you fail, you get thrown and cast aside out into the streets, and you're no longer at all respected by the Empire. So this fight specifically has a lot riding on it, and you actually feel the immense pressure that your character is going through when you're playing it. So because of the immersion in that sense, I've definitely made it number 8 on our list today.
Number 7.
Coming in at number 7 today is one of my favourite quests, and of course is actually a very well-renowned quest called Defender of the Empire, which takes place in the Imperial campaign and incorporates the player going to an Imperial dreadnought to meet up with Darth Jadus, where the player can either kill Darth Jadus or side with him depending on what the player wants to do. And the reason I like this quest so much is because BioWare has gone out of their way to code the MMO from here on out to actually incorporate both realities. I know that sounds a bit confusing, but basically what BioWare has done is had Darth Jadus exist in one reality and Darth Jadus die in the other. And if you choose to side with Darth Jadus, anything from 30 to 50, you actually get him as your superior, and you get to do these quests with him and actually have him as your master, which is remarkable because you have to think about the amount of encoding involved in having two realities both exist side by side. They have to basically go off at a tangent and remake a whole new quest line just to implement the people that chose to let Darth Jadus survive, and because of that alone, it has definitely made number 7 on my list. And a quick side note, Darth Jadus is actually still alive to this day, so there's actually a chance he could be in a future expansion. Isn't that cool?
Number 6.
Coming up at number 6 on our list today is the Battle of Corellia quest, which is part of the Sith Warrior main campaign. Now, the Battle of Corellia quest is actually to do with the Empire defeating the Republic in the Great War. So, of course, the War of Corellia, as all of you probably know, is a giant battle that occurred between the Republic and the Empire. And, of course, the planet has been under siege for many years. And what has started to happen is the Republic started to sort of dissipate on the planet and their presence wasn't as dominant, so the Empire took advantage and Darth Decimus came and just eradicated them. And thanks to Wrath, who was the protagonist of the Sith Warrior campaign, they were able to kill the last of the Republic generals. So what ended up happening is Wrath and Decimus both got together and gave this huge speech to a huge crowd of people that took a lot of time, I would have thought, to animate. And what actually ended up happening is you got this full immersive feeling that you have conquered the planet, because there was a giant victory speech and everyone was involved, all of the people you've been questing out with on Corellia. It became this huge sort of event, and because of that, you had this great feeling of, damn, I am Wrath and I have conquered Corellia, you know, that sort of thing. So because of that, I think it's actually earned 6th place, purely because it was very immersive and I actually felt like, as Wrath, that I had conquered the planet, which is so cool.
Number 5.
Coming in at number 5 is my favourite bonus series in the game, the Taris bonus series. Now this is specifically for the Republic, as you as the protagonist, whether you're playing Jedi Knight, Counselor, Smuggler or Trooper, go through the campaign with Suresh, who is the governor, who is trying to basically clean up Taris and turn it into a well-populated planet again that's nurtured and basically back up to its prime, how it used to be before the Rakghoul infestation, and of course the issue back in KOTOR. So the idea is that they're trying to basically clean up the planet, sort out the plague, and discover all they can about it so they can find a way of perhaps curing the disease. And what you do as a Republic player is go through this campaign and learn so much about the lore of Taris, and you reflect on KOTOR a lot, which really makes it quite in-depth in terms of game content, and because of that I feel it has earned number 5 on my list. Also, it's noteworthy to mention at the very end you actually get to have a one-on-one conversation with Suresh, and you get sort of rewarded for your services, and it's very rare in the MMO to actually be rewarded, so I think that's actually quite a cool ender to the Taris bonus series.
Number 4.
Coming at number 4 is the Battle of Ilum storyline that of course takes place on the planet of Ilum. The storyline in general goes over the story of Malgus and how he defects to his own cause, because as those of you who don't actually know the SWTOR subplot for Malgus, what happens is he betrays the Empire and creates his own empire, basically a group of traitors, ran from himself and some of his fellow leaders and races that you build up and get to trust during the campaign. So it's like a whole bunch of your friends get together to betray you, and you actually feel the betrayal because you've done all these quests for these people, and suddenly they're like, okay, bye, we're going to go create our own empire, and we're going to come back and kick your ass. It's sort of one of these really annoying betrayals, and you spend most of your time at Ilum once you find out about the betrayal. You spend most of your time trying to get revenge, and then you finally get to finish it off in a group flashpoint, you and 3 other players going around kicking bosses' asses that you don't like, and then finally stopping Malgus. And the final boss fight between the player and Malgus is just so intense. The suspense beforehand, having to fight through the HK droid, and of course a few other bosses. It is just one of the really impacting moments of SWTOR, and yeah, definitely number 4. Especially considering Malgus gets only one big ending scene, and then he is never heard from again, which is kind of suspicious, and I hope they do something more with him.
Number 3.
Number 3 takes place on Rishi and is actually part of the quest line for the Imperial Agent. It is when the Imperial Agent returns back to Rishi, only to find the former Minister of Intelligence there, and you get this whole reunion with him. And the reunion, getting to meet one of your former favourite characters again, is just one of the most magical moments in Star Wars: The Old Republic. It is like the cliffhanger you get when, Han Solo was killed by Kylo Ren. It is that moment when, like, Darth Vader just reveals to Luke that he's the father. It's like the SWTOR equivalent of that, going back to see your former mentor and finally seeing what he's been doing and catching up with him and finding out that he's now actually retired and he's going to now help you with the Shadow of Revan story arc is just so cool. It's nice that they got the voice actor back in. It meant a lot to the fan base, including myself, that they'd went out of their way to sort of bring back the traditional Imperial Agent storyline in the form of the Shadow of Revan expansion. And yeah, that's number 3, definitely. The Imperial Agent is an exceptional storyline, and by far one of my favourites. And of course, not to forget the rest of Rishi, which is just as good. The Imperial Agent is just my favourite storyline specifically, but they've got a good storyline for Wrath and the Bounty Hunter, so make sure to give it a go.
Number 2.
Coming in at number 2 on my list today is a quest that is well renowned. It is known by many and is in fact one of my personal all-time favourites, the Star Chamber, which is the concluding quest for the Imperial Agent storyline. Now, the reason I like this quest so much is you get the Mass Effect 2, the gang's all here vibe. You're sitting there as the Imperial Agent with all your companions. You got Calio, you got TVR8, the super droid, you got Vector, you got Dr. Lokin, you got my girl Temple, and you got Scorpio, who you guys all know in the Knights of the Eternal Throne expansion is basically one of the main villains. Basically, you got your gang all together. You're sitting there with the Minister of Intelligence, and all of you together, along with Cypher 2, are planning an attack on a ship called the Tenombros. And the idea is you're going to go there, get this codex thing, or destroy this codex thing, and in the meantime you get to kill your nemesis, Hunter, who you've been tracing down across the galaxy for donkey's years, who works as part of the elite Republic forces. I will let you guys look into the story yourself, give it a shot. But it is basically the big epiphany, awesome twist ending conclusion that is all to do with finishing the Imperial Agent campaign, and the storyline for that mission is just so thrilling. It's like all that leveling up to 50 was worth it. You've actually got some really cool badass reward, and it's that quest, and it is just so intricate, engaging, so fun running around the Tenombros, destroying all the systems, killing each mini-boss, and doing it solo. Just so much fun, and I definitely recommend giving it a shot. It is the second best quest in the game, simple as, go give it a shot.
Number 1.
Dropping in at number 1 is my all-time favourite quest, Terror in the Flesh. Now, this is a quest that takes place on the planet of Belsavis, which is a prison world. It incorporates the player going into the deepest depths of the prison planet to find a so-called tomb, or codename Vault 914, whereas a group of operationist people have gone and basically died, and your job is to find out what happened to them. So you go in there, you find out that there is these elite units called the Dreadmasters. You don't know much more than that, and what happens in the end is you are told by the Empire to free them as they serve Valkorion, who is the former Emperor Vitiate, and once you free them, they go rogue, kick everyone's asses, and they basically say to you, yo, thanks man, you freed the most badass Siths in the galaxy. They then fly off, you do scum and villainy, you interrupt them, they become like every ops boss, you do Terror from Beyond and interrupt them again, and then you conclude it with this Oricon storyline where you go around Oricon, you do all these dailies and weeklies, and then you do the Dread Fortress and Dread Palace storylines, which all of you will know are some of the hardest operations in the game. So yeah, the Dread Masters are like the elite Sith. It's like the MLG Sith. You don't mess with them. And that is why it is number one, just the best and coolest Sith in the galaxy. And there we have it, folks, another top 10. I hope all of you are having a very Merry Christmas today. I know I did. And I hope that ultimately you get all those cool little gifts you want. If you get a chance, feel free to hit that SWTOR referral code for me. It really helps me make these videos, and I've got a plan for sort of an RP series I'm going to start doing on SWTOR. So any help would be appreciated with that. Feel free to hit the comment section below. If you want to leave a comment or suggest another top 10 video, I'll be happy to give it a shot. And of course, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Happy 2017, everyone. Happy New Year.